Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Live Travel Tip Tuesday. We don't get to do Travel Tip Tuesday live too much, but today we get to do it live. And we have an incredible guest. So I am excited about today. Let me see. What I want you guys to know about today is we always talk cruising over here, right? We talk cruising quite a bit, but we talk some other types of travel here and there too. But today we're going to be talking about all-inclusive travel, resort style. And because we always have so many people here who love to cruise, we're going to be matching all of you cruisers with your resort style. So I'm excited about it. We're going to get into it. Our guest, I had the opportunity to meet in person at our travel agent boot camp a few months ago. And so I know he is a good time. So I'm excited to get started chatting with him here. I don't see that we have any comments in the chat yet, but somebody please just let me know you can at least hear me okay. I do see Ken Hill. Hey, what's up, Ken? Welcome in, waving, saying hello. Thank you for being here. Ken, if you can, let me know if you can hear us okay. I do see we got 7 people watching so far, so somebody is here and can say, yes, I hear you, Kiki. Let me know so I know that I'm not talking to myself. I would really appreciate it. So today we have Joseph Fehlen in the building. We're going to be talking to him about all-inclusive vacationing, and what I'm really excited about is I don't know my resort style. So I'm going to be figuring out my own resort style as well today. Hi Shay, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Hello Amanda. Welcome in, welcome in. And Shay says, we hear you. Okay, perfect. All right. I'm not going to delay then. If you guys can hear me, we're going to bring up our guests because I'm excited. We got Love and B here. Thank you for being here, Love and B. And thank you for being a channel member as well. Welcome in. Hanging with the hordes in the building. Welcome. Ken Hill says, sounds good. Okay. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Mr. Joseph Fehlen. Hi.
Hey, Shakia. You just
Hello.
mentioned Kiki. Are we friends? Can I call you Kiki?
Yeah, of course you can
Oh
call
my
me Kiki.
gosh.
I'm sorry you didn't know that already. You
I
should have
didn't
been the
know that.
first
I
to
was
know
just
that.
going all professional with you. You were like, I'm a travel advisor and you got to go professional. So I was rolling with it, but I like Kiki. Let's do it.
Do Kiki. I'm all about it. That's what this community typically calls me, Kiki. So that's where we at. We all friends here.
Well,
So
welcome
I'm super
everybody.
excited
We
today.
already have a good group popping on. Good to have you
What'd you
all.
say?
I said it's good to have you all. Welcome everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Joseph, before we get into the conversation, do you go by Joe? Should I call you Joe or should I call you
No,
Joseph?
I'm Joseph. I'm all
You are
Joe.
Joseph. All right.
Professional, social, for dinner. Yelling me
Got
my
it.
name at the mountaintop. It's the name my mama gave me, so I thought I'd stick with it.
I like it. I like it. Mamas know what they're talking about, so we're gonna stick with what mama gave me. So, Joseph, can you tell us a little bit about yourself as well as a little bit about ALG Vacations?
Yeah, so I grew up and was born in Wisconsin, so I'm just north of you, Kiki, up in we call it North Chicago up here, but up here, grew up here, traveled around the nation living, and back to Wisconsin. I was a travel advisor for the last several years, owned my own travel agency, and then I got invited or I interviewed for this position of business development manager for ALG Vacations. And I just have been here for almost a year. It was actually a year ago, like this week, that I was interviewing. And I'm now a business development manager, and I work with the national accounts, such as the one you're with, and get to work with travel advisors each and every day. And I wake up every day, and I'm like, I can't believe I get to do this with my life, helping agents help others get out and see the whole world. And so when you asked me to come on, I'm like, absolutely, let's go.
I love it. I love that. And congratulations on a year too. That's cool.
August 5th is my year anniversary, but I was like in the interview process right now.
Nice. Well, coming up on a year, that's good
Yep.
stuff, and you can absolutely tell that you love what you do too. I've had the pleasure of being able to watch some of your lives on Facebook, and it's always fun. Like we always know that we just in for a treat when you hit that go live button. It's just really fun to watch. We got a couple more people that came in. Cruising complete. Welcome in. Good evening. And we have Rachel.
Rachel's on. She's one of your
Welcome.
KHM agents.
Yes, yes. Rachel's KHM. Amanda's KHM as well. Absolutely. Yep. We got a few of our my KHM boot camp buddies here in the building supporting today. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be talking about all-inclusive vacation, which Nightbot, you are so on top of things today because if you need help planning your next all-inclusive vacation, hello, you can click there.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Yes. And we got Travelust Escapes in the building too, who is also from our boot camp class. So hey, Travelust Escapes, welcome in, welcome in. So talking about all-inclusive travel, let's get into a little bit of like the differences between all-inclusive and cruising travel.
Yeah. So you're a cruising channel, and I love cruising, but I was once, I know you're a very biblical crowd here a little bit, but I was once the Apostle Paul to the new Christians. I was a person that would go out and destroy cruisers because I was like, why would you want to cruise? It's the dumbest thing ever. And I would be like, no, you have to do all-inclusive travel. Why would you want to go look at beaches when you can be on the beach? I was that guy. And then I got on a cruise, would be almost 5 years ago, and I was hooked. I get it. I understand now why people love cruising, and it's just such a great way to see the world also. So this is very much a compliment to both sides. But one of the main differences I saw, just as, again, a fresh cruiser, I'm like, oh, this is what the difference is. And the biggest one I found was the shared experience, Kiki. When you're on a cruise ship, you all know you're on that ship for 5 nights or 12 nights or whatever. We did a Panama Canal cruise, 18 days, and the whole ship was anticipating going through the locks from San Francisco. I've been on a river cruise in France, and we were all anticipating the whole trip. We knew we would end in Normandy. So you have the shared experience with each other. So each and every day you can sit down, and I love to get down early. Maybe it was on a princess ship and I'm in the cafe and I'm sipping some coffee, and I could just talk to the person right next to me, usually somebody that's older because nobody else is waking up that early. And I would be like, so what did you think about? And I would insert the place we were yesterday. Or I go, hey, so what are you doing today and I would insert that place. And you didn't have to ask, where were you yesterday? We all knew where we were yesterday. That shared experience that you have collectively. And if you do a lot of cruising, I think you sometimes might forget that that's happening. Everybody's bringing their bags on and off at the same time. Now, all-inclusive trips seemingly have the same thing, but it's very different in that because you're sitting at your lounger and you don't know that guy that's coming in with his bags, you can kind of peek over there. You're like, is he staying for 4 days, 5 days, 7 days? Where are they from? All of those things just create a different conversation. It's a little bit harder maybe to pop into the shared vibe of what's going on. So you're kind of left with, so what do you think about the pool? Did you go eat last night at the restaurant? So you're having those types of conversations. Kind of a major philosophical big difference. And then the other one is vacation versus trip. Like when I go to an all-inclusive, that's a true vacation for me. I don't want to make any decisions. The biggest decision I want to make in an all-inclusive is hammock or lounge chair. It's beach or pool. Do I put 3 rocks in my whiskey or do I just take 2? Those are the big decisions I make. When I'm on a cruise ship, it is a little bit more decisions that have to happen. Should I go for the 7 o'clock or the 10 o'clock show at night? We have to get off at a certain time. Honey, we need to wake up today. We have to make sure we have the right clothes. So we're going to go on this excursion together. It's just a little bit different with that regards of seeing the things around you. I think we'll get into a little bit, but not that you can't go and explore at an all-inclusive because there's great excursions that you can do, but that's never usually the main intent. Cruising, especially in like the Caribbean. I've been on the 14-day Caribbean cruise. I'm like, how many islands can I knock off in this 14 days? I got to check more countries off. Like I just want countries. You don't have that. There's none of that happening with all-inclusives. And then one last one, Kiki, and maybe I'll hit some other ones as we go as I remember them. By the way, I'm going noteless today. So this is me noteless. I have no idea.
Go for it.
That's online right now, what questions I'm going to get asked. Besides the one she just asked me, it's going to be free for all from this point on. I'll just be honest with one thing that sometimes people aren't in the all-inclusive world. The evening entertainment at an all-inclusive doesn't normally. There are some that have some really good ones, and we might touch on those. The evening entertainment on a cruise ship is usually really, really good. It's a
Mm-hmm.
good comedian, or it's a good Broadway show, or it's a very interactive light show. A lot of times you don't get that. You might get one of those a week at an all-inclusive. Besides that, they'll have evening entertainment, and it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. Um, you might have the Mayan show at one night, or you might have a Michael Jackson thing going on, but it's not the level of quality that you would see on a cruise ship where these guys are professional.
Mm-hmm.
This is their life. Not to dismay what's happening at all inclusives, but you just don't
Yeah.
have that unless you're like in Jamaica where you have a real good reggae band. Like those are hard to beat.
Gotcha.
Some
Those are all really, really good points. And, to go back to what you said about that kind of shared collective experience, right? You think about getting on a cruise ship, one of the first things a lot of people do is join their Facebook group for their cruise. So they're already building these sort of relationships
Yep,
before people even get on board. And then you see those play out in real life when people get together in these arranged activities that
absolutely.
people put together. But there are some people that they have no interest in that, and they're okay with being completely separate from everything that has been
Yep.
put together. I want to be on my own. I'm here to vacation. And even thinking about, you can say that on a cruise you can go and just relax all day if you want
Oh,
to. I'm
absolutely.
not the type of person that can, because if I know there's stuff going on, I want to be a part of the stuff that's going on. So I have a hard time just laying in my bed or just laying on the deck all day when I
Yep.
know I can be watching the show and going to bingo and all the other things. But it's good points, and very valid.
Yep.
But
Well,
I
that's a
think
way
one.
too, Kiki, to know like is all inclusive for me. Like when you're on a cruise ship and you find yourself kind of just relaxing by the pool a lot, you're a great candidate to go, oh, I should do an all inclusive. If you find yourself going, oh, man, I really love the food and I want to engage in the food, like you're on a Virgin Voyage, you just can't get enough of their food hall and their gallery and their apps and stuff like oh, that might be a good translation to going to an all inclusive. If you are somebody that, again, that wants to go, you have to go with different expectations, or really
Mhm.
find the resort that is for that.
Okay. That's probably a good transition too, because if you are somebody that
Segue
is
into
the
the podcast
yeah,
business.
look
You're
at
so good
you.
at this.
You are good at this. I think you've done this before, haven't you? No, if you are the go kind of person, and
Yep.
not the lay on the beach all day type of person, like in your mind, what resort stands out as the go person needs to go to this resort?
Great question. And the first one that pops into my mind, and again, I'm going to mention probably a lot of resorts here, not to say any of the other ones I don't mention aren't awesome. There's a resort for everyone
Mhm.
out there. In Cancun alone, there's like 200 all inclusives. It's just crazy. They're the amount of, it's just in one
That's
location. But
nuts.
the immediate thought for the go person is the Xcaret resorts outside of Playa del Carmen in Mexico. So you'd fly into the Cancun airport, go south about an hour's transfer. Kiki will set you up. Don't ever take a Uber or a taxi in any of these countries I'm mentioning. You're always making sure your travel professionals hooking you up with a good transfer company. Is Xcaret, it's spelled with an X. It's a Mayan word. And so there's Xcaret Arte, which is an adult only resort, and then Casa de Playa, which is their more boutique. And they're all right next to each other.
Mhm.
But that resort is the Disneyland of all inclusives, in that there's like 9 other parks. Plus, they have some like boat rides, and they have some other little offshoot things that they can go to, from like snorkeling parks to full on like adventure zone parks. There's like one park that really is just a nighttime party boat, if you will. They have like you're going out and you're just having a great time eating and drinking and hanging out with people on a party. And then also they have a lot of really cool shows on site also that you can explore and see the culture that's happening. So Xcaret would be if you want to go like that one, you'll be done and go, man, I probably need a vacation from this one. Uh,
That
it's
would probably be me because I would if it's there, I'm going to it.
you're
I've
going.
seen the Xterra. It's got all the zip lining and all that kind of stuff
Oh, we
going
got
on, right?
everything.
It looks amazing.
And so the price point of that one's higher, but you're getting the park passes included in that. I'm
Oh,
a
okay.
firm believer, actually, like Eshkaret just by itself, even if you didn't have the parks included, it's worth the price because the actual resorts just have so much going on there too. Like from the caves and the caverns, and you get on, just from snorkeling there to kayaking, just the fun little reefs and stuff out by the beach. It's not a beach resort, so there's not like, oh, let's go walk on the beach for 10 miles. Like it's not that. They have a beach, but it's not like a long walk beach. But there's so much beauty and so much culture that's happening there. So yeah, I'd go
Yeah.
extra rep.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. You know what you mentioned? I want to go back a second. You
Oh,
mentioned
good.
Cancun specifically.
Yeah.
And let's talk about, somebody that has never done an all-inclusive vacation before. Where do
Yeah.
I start?
Okay.
Where should I be going?
Okay. So where you don't start is Hawaii in the U.S. So everybody that's listening right now, stop calling your travel advisors and say, I want to go to an all-inclusive in Hawaii or in the U.S. Now there are some, but they're like for the rich and famous. Kiki. Like if
Mm,
you have rich and famous money, then call Kiki up and get yourself an all-inclusive getaway in the States.
yeah.
But they're not there for the average person, which most of us are. So they're really consolidated in the Caribbean and Mexico. There are some in the Southern Caribbean, like Aruba down by Central America. In Mexico, it's the big ones are Cancun, Cabo, Puerto Vallarta are the big ones, and then Huatuca, Mazatlan has some. Where else? Those are the kind of the big ones. I'm probably missing one out there, but Puerto Vallarta, Cabo, and Cancun are the big ones, and then Jamaica and the Dominican Republic are second. So really, your main spots, especially from O'Hare, you can get those nonstop flights from O'Hare to Cancun. Like Cancun is the
Mhm.
money spot. I love it. And so when people tell me, "Well, I've been to Cancun, I don't want to go back," I just shake my head. I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, there's like, where did you go?" Because there's 18 other places you could go, and in those places, there's multiple resorts. In the Cancun ecosystem, if you will, just understands tourism. So from
Mhm.
transfers to the food and to the service, like they get that. So even a moderate level resort in a lot of the Cancun area is just as good as some you might find somewhere else, just because the level of like the worker just understands it. Um,
Okay.
so when you and then the prices are just better there. So that's why it's a major spot. There's multiple areas, big distinctive areas in Cancun. So if you're older like I am, Gen X in it, and you're used to like the spring break MTV Cancun, like that doesn't really exist. There's a couple spots that are there, but you're probably
Mhm.
not going to think about ever going there. And it's a great spot to start, finish, and end all of your
Okay.
all-inclusive experiences. But yeah, Jamaica and then Dominican Republic are also big ones.
It sounds like you could go to Cancun several times and get a different experience every single time you go if you wanted
I
to.
You said it, I didn't.
Okay. We had a few people that came in, so I wanna make sure we speak to everybody.
Yeah,
We have Warm
welcome
Strong here.
everybody.
Hey, hey, hey. What's going on? We got Keisha H in the building. Welcome in, Keisha. She said, "Hey, TRT,
Yeah,
Joseph,
yeah,
and Chet." And Parker's on the go. Welcome in, Parkers. Thanks for being here, and thank you for being channel members as well. And we got Cruise Nuts who came in. What's up, Cruise Nuts? Come on in. Welcome. Welcome. We are talking all inclusive vacation. What I would like for you guys to do, if you can, if you have a cruise style, let us know in the chat. What is your cruise style? Because what we want to do is match you up with what is the perfect resort for you based on the style of cruising that you like. And so I have some little scenarios built up, but it's way more fun when y'all just talk to us and tell us what your cruise style is, right? So do
yeah.
that in the chat for us if
Stump,
you can.
stump the supplier.
Yes, help us, help us. And that's, we get a lot of people that reach out for some, like lately I've been getting a lot of people who reach out for last minute travel.
Yeah.
And when people reach out for last minute cruising, it is so much harder to get people onto a last minute cruise, like I'm looking at sailings for July now that are like sold out already. So I feel like I have an easier time if I can say, hey, I may not be able to get you this exact cruise that you want, but have you thought about this resort? Because this type of resort matches your cruise style, and I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
nice to have that kind of go to.
And you have the opportunity to leave and come back whenever you want. That's the other thing. And the shared experience with the cruise is awesome, but it's Saturday to Saturday, or it's Monday to Friday, or it's
Mm-hmm.
so the beauty of all inclusives is that you have the flexibility, especially with this last minute travel. And again, to work with Kiki and other, if you have a travel advisor agent, make sure
Mm-hmm.
you're working with them because they got access to things that you don't necessarily have as just a common person.
Yeah.
Shoot, we had a one in there. You probably saw it because
Yep.
you're an amazing host.
It's here.
Travel
Travel Lust Escape said relaxing spa, which
relaxing
kind of lines
spa.
up with the first one I had here, which is the Zen
Whoa,
Seeker.
the Zen
So
sequel.
yeah. So let's talk about if you like a relaxing spa, but also the Zen Seeker, we kind of matched up with celebrity, peaceful atmosphere, elevated dining, good spa services, like to be by the beach. Like what resort stands out to you when you think about that type of cruiser?
Well, the spa part is where my brain went right away, and now I have to. I'm 50 years old now, so I got to bring this over to the other screen over here to make this bigger so I can see it. So I'm sorry for not looking at you.
No, you
Um,
good.
Okay, keep this elevate. Okay, I'm going to start with adult only swimmable beaches. Um, that is an amazing spot. The new one that I really like is Secrets Playa Blanca, which is north of Cancun. The north of Cancun is the Playa Blanca and Costa Mujer region of Cancun, where the beach goes on forever. So down south in the Riviera Maya, they're all little covey beaches. Most of the part up north, walkable beaches, beautiful spot. But that resort Zen model at the Secrets Playa Blanca is like my new fave to connect with adults only beach. The spa's great. It's all there for that. Now, if you are and it might hit some other zones a little bit, Kiki, but when somebody asked about the spa, the first one I thought about was actually at a family resort, if you can believe me there, is the Dreams Natura, which is south of Cancun. And if you look at it, you look at the outside of Dreams Natura, and it's a fairly small footprint, and there's lots of pools. They have adult only pools and they have kids pools.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really be separated there. But there's a zip line there, there's a lazy river, there's water slides, there's all of that. It does not have a great water there. The beach is nice, but the water can be a little bit brown just because of some of the runoff. That whole area there could be the most beautiful water one day, and the next day it might have rained, and then the runoff just causes it to do weird things.
Mm-hmm.
But that spa there, again, when we get to the answer of your question, the spa at Dreams Natura is probably one of the coolest spas. It's actually
Oh.
all underground, and it's supposed to mimic, or it does, not supposed to, it does mimic a cenote, which is an underground. You have it all in that area of Mexico, the underground. It's a great excursion you can do. Underwater sinkhole, if you can think that way, but the water in it is crystal clear. So there'll be a lot of like pathways down, and you see those pictures on Instagram, people jumping into this crystal clear water. It's 40
Yeah.
feet. And then you're like, are they in a cave or whatever? That's a cenote usually. Well, the spa there at Dreams Natura is a spot where it actually you can look up and start seeing up into the sky. And when you're up there, you don't really even notice that the spa is below you. Um, but everything is all rocky and really cool textures, and everything is about the senses. It's natura, natural, nature. So you can create your own scrubs and you can create your own scents in a little. It's basically a Starbucks for spas, senses and stuff. So that's really cool to create that. So that I thought about that one with the spa. Was the one that hit me up mostly, but then you said walkable beach, then I went north.
That's okay. No, that spa sounds amazing though. Like, and you know
Oh,
what? I'm gonna tell you, I have not done my own all inclusives. I have booked all inclusives for other people, but every time I go and price out an all inclusive for myself, I end up I love cruising so much, I end up back there. But when I tell you, the more I research these different locations and just see what they offer, the more I'm like, I need to plan myself a trip.
You need to find
I need
yourself
to.
sit down, just chill out trip.
Yes. So I have another one in here. We got a
Yeah.
cruise style from Keisha H. I'm gonna read hers real quick. My cruise style is a lot of relaxing on the ship and fun at port. So I'm gonna give you that one to take. You're gonna see me turn my head for a minute because I realized that my booking link is not showing up. So I need to fix that. So
Oh,
while you
okay,
talk, I'm
people
gonna fix that.
booked. I'm going to go back to a lot of the secrets properties for just relaxing. It's adult only. So usually relaxing in the adult only world, Kiki means no kids, and that's what I would consider relaxing. There are some nice, again, as dreams properties or family properties that have some adult only areas. So that's again, a travel agent that kind of knows the differences there. So the secrets, I'm going to give you another secrets as far as relaxing. But you might ask, are you going to ask me like a high level one, like a really bougie one? Like,
Absolutely. That's
okay,
on
I'm
my
going
list
to
for
just
sure.
save that one for later. I'm going to think relaxing. I'm going to go to one I've actually not been to. Can I even do that? Atelier, which is just north of Cancun as well. I've been around that beach, but I have not actually visited that resort. But I hear amazing things about it. That people I know that have been there. Atelier is a beautiful, relaxing resort. And then also, if you're going to get over to no, I'm just going to stop with that one. You're going to ask me another
Okay.
question. I'm going to give you one more. I am
Okay.
relaxing, and then the fun at port. It's going to be live aqua. Some say live aqua. It's a debate that will never be solved because even you ask them how you say their name, they're like they kind of give you the I don't know. Um, live aqua is actually in the hotel zone of Cancun, so beautiful beach area. This is a really amazing for the senses again. Like they have 7 or 8 pools there. Don't quote me on that. It's 7 or 8. Each of them are at a different temperature, so you can find a pool that you like. Some of the restaurants have like sand floors, so you could take your shoes off and just enjoy some sand underneath you while you have
I
a
can feel the sand between my
yeah.
toes right now, just from you saying
They have,
that.
they have another restaurant you could be in it. It's actually in the middle of it, the resort. You can be down in the resort and you don't even know there's anything going around you. You go almost this little green, Anna Green Gables tunnel type of a thing, and you come into their Asian restaurant. It's beautiful. But on the other side of the resort is the main road that goes on the hotel strip. You would never know it's there. So if you wanted to then go, let's go have fun. You can even jump on a bus there. The bus just goes up and down that road. Get on it. You go down to Coco Bongo and like you can see the world that you've never seen before. As far as like this, they're having the party and they're doing shots. They're doing all of those things there. So you have that fun experience. You have the shopping that's there. I always call it the Gucci Mall, and the Walmart Mall all together. Like you have all the spread of shopping there that has to do there. So you have the both and of that fun, but also relaxing.
Now you talking my husband style. He like to shop. I'm not the big shopper, but I will go and spend a few dollars here and there. But my husband likes to have those options. My son in the background talking crazy.
Right across the street.
You know what? Since Keisha mentioned relaxing on the ship, I do see we got a couple more in the chat too, and I'm gonna get to those in a second. But since she mentioned fun at port, there's one that I gotta bring up here.
Yep.
And that is the life of the Lido deck, your Carnival Cruise energy. Your Carnival cruiser? Who? Yes, there it is. Yep. What resort is for your Carnival cruiser?
So I'm going to go adult only again. For this is the Breathless brand. That is a nice adult only brand that isn't. It's not to the point of being risque. There actually is resorts out there, Kiki. I know you're too pure of mind to know of them. That are clothing optional and all those things. Like, and you can book those if you wanted to. They're
It
great.
may not be for me, but if you want it, I'll
If
book
you
it for
want it,
you.
that's a market that honestly is a great market to help people get out and travel. But the Breathless one is definitely like party. There's music house playing. There's things happening. There's food around the beach. There's actually one now that's brand new. Is the Hyatt. Oh my gosh. It's going to come to me. I got to look at my map. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hyatt, and it's down. I can tell you where it is on the map.
Okay.
Hyatt. Oh man, all my
While
friends
go
that
ahead. While you do that, I'm gonna say hi to the people that came in
do
because we
that.
got Big Murph's Life that
I'll
came
have it.
in. What's up, Big Murph? Welcome in. Happy Tuesday to you. And we had Social Couplepreneur, and she came in saying, "I like that. It's a must." She probably talking about one of these resorts we were talking about. One of these resort styles. um,
Hyatt Vivid Grand Island. So it's a Hyatt Vivid, which is it skews a little bit younger crowd, adults, but more they want like food carts, and there's a rooftop pool there that is amazing, the Hyatt Vivid, and it's actually not even on the beach. You take a golf cart to the beach, you could see the
mhm.
beach. The views there are amazing. It's on the lagoon side in Cancun, so
Yeah.
it's super close to the airport, but the food there is top notch, and it's party, but it's a little more sophisticated, fun vibe. So the Hyatt Vivid is a great a resort, and I've just noticed that I put a star everywhere I've been, and I don't have
Mhm.
a star at Hyatt Vivid, and I have been there. So I'm going to star it right now in front of you, Kiki. There we
Go
go.
for it. Go for it. I was gonna say that means it's time for you to go there, but you've been there already. You just need to put the star.
I haven't put the star.
I just quoted Hyatt Vivid for somebody a couple of days ago. It looks absolutely fantastic. It looks so amazing. Even with it not being on the beach, like you can tell that that view is just incredible from that rooftop area. It looks so gorgeous.
Now it's actually under the road. You take carts. The carts are just going back and forth. So
Mhm.
it's there. A lot of times you're actually closer to the beach than some of these other large resorts. So people are like, "Oh, it's not on the
Mhm.
beach," and I'm also like, "Well, have you ever been to maybe El Dorado, which is an amazing complex that has kind of everything? It's
Mhm.
green, lush, but it's really spread out, so you can have lots of Zen time, if you will, walking around, just enjoying nature, and not even know you're anywhere near the beach." And in
Mhm.
reality, it's almost just as far of a walk. But since the property per se touches the beach, that one has a beach. And that
Okay.
I'll push back a little bit with the Hyatt Vivid. That like no, it has a beach, and it's almost closer than some of these other resorts. You just need to take
Are
a look.
you familiar with like Fort Lauderdale area at all?
No. Oh
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking about like Fort Lauderdale, like if you get one of those beach hotels, right? They're not actually on the beach because there's road right there, right? You
No,
got to actually cross the
yeah,
road to get
it's
over
not
to the
real.
beach. That's what it reminded me of.
No, this one goes underneath the road, and somebody's carting you to it, and there's actually a beach club at the beach. So there's not a public,
Oh.
it's a public beach, but
Mhm.
still there's a beach club just for those. So there's some food and drinks and all that stuff there, and loungers and things. So they still have it all,
Yeah.
but it's just set up differently. That's a
Okay.
good party resort. And I'm sorry, I'm just keep staying in Cancun.
That's
Everything
okay.
is out from that. There's some cool party resorts also in Cabo, the Breathless in Cabo, even budget wise, good adult kind of fun area is the Ryu Palaces that are in
Mm.
Cabo also.
Yeah, you know what? We've never, even though we haven't done an actual resort stay, we've done like some day passes when we're on cruise. And Ryu Palace is one of the ones that we went to, and it was just absolutely beautiful resort. Food was amazing. Like we had a good time. It made me want to go back and book a
Oh my
trip
gosh!
there.
If you think I put Ryu, and I love it. I built my business on Ryu, and we spent our 30th anniversary at Ryu, so I'm a Ryu
Nice.
guy. But they're right here in the middle. Like if
Okay.
you like Ryu, like some of these other ones I mentioned will blow your mind, Kiki.
Yeah,
Far
for
as the
sure.
food and some of the other things that they have. So yeah,
That means I got to book a trip and go see for
gotta
myself.
book a trip. Yeah, do a cruise
Let's
trip
see.
to one of these.
Ray, my husband Ray is in the building now. So he said my cruise style is close to the water, aka the balcony, relaxing and peaceful, non-alcoholic drinks, and family
Oh,
friendly.
okay, I'm gonna throw you a new one.
Okay.
A new resort that just opened up a year ago. It's called Ava. It's owned by the same people as the Hard Rock Resort, and
Mm-hmm.
Unico. Unico is their adult only. So Ava is huge. It's a mile from one tip to the other,
Okay.
but one long resort. And if you're flying into Cancun, that's what you see. You're actually kind of flying over it, and you see this thing. You look down, and you're like, "What is this S thing on the ground?" And I liken it to a cruise ship, in that all the rooms are up top. I know there's some other rooms that are not in cruises. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has an ocean view. There is no lesser client there. There's no like garbage can view. Everybody has an ocean view, which is amazing. Now the beach there, the sand there, they've brought a lot in. They built it up. It's just a year old. It's very nice, but again, that's in that area. Same as maybe sometimes that the water isn't as crystal clear as you would want it to go into, and again, kids will stuff will play in and they'll have a great time. But when you're in your room and you're just chilling out, the views are unsurpassed. Like you just have water, and so you feel like you're on a cruise ship, and you kind of can lean over and look at the guy over here if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Balconies. Oh, that's the other difference, Kiki. Can we just be honest?
Come on, let's talk about it.
Cruise ship rooms versus all-inclusive rooms. Remember, I kind of gave a little shout out to the cruising people that you have a little bit better entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
You can't beat all-inclusive rooms. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't even hold a candle to cruising rooms. Like, and that's where you sometimes have a cruiser is like, oh, I don't really care about the room until you have experienced one, and then you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, this is what we're talking about. Rain showers,
Uh-huh.
the bathrooms in some of these all-inclusive resorts, and these are just normal rooms. I'm not talking about the presidential suite. Normal rooms. Some of these bathrooms are bigger than most cruise ship complete rooms.
I
Um,
believe it.
so when you're sitting on the balcony and enjoying the view, it's unsurpassed, and you feel like you're on a cruise ship. And then everything is below you, and so the promenade there on their third floor, which would be, is
Mm-hmm.
that long walk, and that's where they have all their shops and all their restaurants, and they have bowling and the kids club, and they have an escape room. They have all of these things happening
Oh.
on the same floor. Hibachi grill, are going on. They have like 38, I think, hibachi tables going on, like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going on. And then while you're doing it, you still can see the water as you walk that promenade. So it's a great place. And I'll just tell you the food there, and that's what actually made me think about the ocean view, and the food and the drinks are amazing. The crafted drinks that they have, non-alcoholic, that they're doing, they're not just mixing a few things together, and that's what really separates some of those really good resorts. And sometimes the higher price point, you're going to notice it in the drinks, Ray. You're going to notice it in some of the food that they have. I love that resort. They have little taco, almost like a little taco stand that's there. Like the guys are just making, like scraping off the El Pastor taco
Oh.
tacos all day long. You're like, oh, I think I'm gonna get a taco before I go get my steak.
If it's me, it's gonna be before and after. I'm gonna go get the taco and then I'm gonna have the steak and then I'm gonna have the
Yeah,
taco again for dessert.
yeah.
I
And
am the foodie
the
girl.
food like there is just like, and it's all included.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most all inclusives, when they say all included, like it is all inclusive. Like on some cruising, you're like, can I go to that restaurant? Can I go to this one? Which one do I have to pay extra? And sometimes you have to
Mm-hmm.
pay just as much to get off the ship as you have to get on it. In all
Right.
inclusives, it's like you're paying for your spa treatment and your excursions, which are usually another company doing them. So very
Mm-hmm.
similar to cruising in that regards, but the restaurants are all included. Now they also have, again, to give some comparison between the two, they're going to have preferred club type of rooms also, just like they do in all of the cruising lines. Where if you're in that the Haven, I think that's Norwegian, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
In the
Norwegian.
Haven,
Yep.
you're going to get a special little pool area, and you get a special restaurant, and you get a spot to go. They all have like preferred clubs. They call them aqua clubs. There's always some club that is included. But usually the general person doesn't even know that there's another restaurant that they couldn't even get to.
Yeah.
Um, and also the preferred clubs usually don't cost that much more, unlike what they do in cruise lines. They're usually
They cost a lot more
a
on
lot
cruise
more.
lines. It is a significant
They don't.
increase. Sometimes, 2 to 3 times as much
Yep.
as what the actual cruise itself costs. So that's good to know. Like you could
Yep.
possibly spend a little more and step into that club
Yep. Yep.
atmosphere
Yep.
and
Yep.
actually get a
A
better experience.
perfect example of that is the Dreams Vista, which I'm going to go back to Ray's question. It's Ray, right?
Mhm.
Ray asked about the family friendly and cruise shipping. That's another resort that I really like, in that it's called Dreams Vista, meaning we have views everywhere. And I joke around, but I think I'm positive. Like the only place you cannot see the water is in the elevator or in where your toilet is. And even in your shower, if you wanted to peek over the little frosted glass, you could look out and see the water. Like
Wow.
it's just views everywhere. and it's built just straight up like a cruise ship. And again, the restaurants and stuff are on one level. The pool is as long as anything. I never talk about the pool at Ava. The Ava pool is the biggest pool in all of the Mexico area. Huge pool. So they push you there because again the water isn't as nice. But Vista has then that top floor, just like a cruise ship, where your views north, south, east, and west are amazing, and that is adult only for preferred club. So you got up there, and there's a pool up there, more like a cruise ship, a little bit bigger than a cruise type of pool. But the views up there, the bar, the food, the steakhouse that's on the sunset side, you're watching the sun go down where you're eating a steak. Like, it's a beautiful family resort that, again, does drinks really well. The food's awesome, and your views are forever.
That sounds amazing, and that sounds right up Ray's alley because he love a view all the
I don't
time.
know about peaceful though, Ray, because it still is kids. But I do also
we
think about
more than likely.
Taco Tony there every lunch, man. That guy is working the taco stand, and the lions are back. And that, I don't know how he works so hard. And he's one guy. He's, I don't think I can help him because it'll just slow him down. And he's making everything. They're going.
Knocking them out. Hey, I'm gonna speak to who we got coming in the chat here.
Yeah.
So we got Scotty J. Whoop whoop. Hey, what's up, Scotty J? Welcome. Let's see. Travel Cake Trips is in the building. How you guys doing? They said hello, Kiki. Happy Tuesday evening to everybody in the chat. Keisha said that sounds lovely. It sure does. Social Cup Renew says so true. The rooms are nice. Yeah, and that's on the flip side of that, trying to introduce a new cruiser to cruising, and they're used to hotel rooms, and it's like, no, I need you to wrap your brain around the fact that your room is not going to be like a hotel room. Like, it's going to be significantly smaller than what you are used to. So being able to go to an all-inclusive resort and have a room that, obviously is going to be bigger for one, but probably a lot nicer too.
Yeah.
Keisha said there's no comparison with cruise ship cabins to land accommodations. Not at all. Carnival Cruise Addicts in the building. What's up, Carnival Cruise Addicts? We just talked about what the perfect resort is for the Carnival Cruiser. Keisha said tacos for dessert sounds interesting.
Let's
Kiki,
do it.
Keisha, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat. If I don't do nothing else on vacation, I'm going to eat. Keisha said, okay, what's the name of this place again? That the last place we were talking about was
about Ava, which is the two about the food and the views, Ava and Dreams Vista. If you're gonna think cruise ship, those are the two that instantly come to mind. The third one is Secrets the Vine, which is also close to the airport. That one is in the hotel zone, but it's the south side, and it is the tallest building there, and the views there are amazing too, where you're literally looking over the top of all the other hotels. You're seeing the lagoon on one side and the ocean on the other, the Caribbean on the other, the Gulf. So those are the three that I would really put in that kind of cruise ship as far as the makeup of them, the building structure, and they're all, again, the food's all on one level, those types of things, and there might be a little hidden, something on that floor, just like it is in a cruise ship.
and that was in Cancun too, right?
Yeah, I've been mostly talking about Cancun area.
Okay. So that's a good starting point, right? You've been cruising, you're not sure about all inclusive, want to give it a try. First of all, start in Cancun, and then maybe start with one of these resorts that's going to give you an experience that's similar to what you're used to with cruising, right? So
absolutely.
Travel Cake Trip said, that sounds very interesting. Built like a cruise ship. Does it offer different options of entertainment at the same time, like on a cruise?
Yeah. So I talked briefly about that, like the nighttime entertainment. I talked about that at the beginning a little bit. The nighttime entertainment on cruise ships are very nice. We have a similar nighttime on the resorts. Now, there aren't all of the sporadic little on the Lido desk is it'd be the jazz band, and down there is going to be the guy on the guitar in the rotunda, and then there's going to be the cover band over here. Like, that generally is not happening at any all inclusives. Whatever the entertainment is that night, there might be some more family friendly thing first, and then there'll be something kind of afterwards. And a lot of the entertainment usually is based around culture. So like in Mexico, there might be like a Mayan night So there's going to be that going on. They'll do, they'll classically always have a fire show where people are throwing fire in the air and they're doing, things usually kind of around the pool area. So you're sitting with the pool and there's all this happening. There'll be kind of a gymnastic night where people are doing cool things on the poles and all that kind of stuff. But it's basically one thing at a time. There's not a lot of like, oh, there's this little thing over there and there's this one over there, like you do on a cruise ship.
Gotcha. But that would be helpful for me, honest, because I want to go to all the things when all the things are happening. So if I only
Yeah,
got one thing to go
it's
to,
just
that's
one
calm
thing.
me down.
Yeah, and a lot of times at night, which is beautiful at some of these resorts, they won't have the buffet open at night. So there'll be a breakfast buffet and a lunch buffet. The nighttime, they won't have that open. They'll have a lot of their other restaurants open. There'll always be like an Italian restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, a Japanese or an Asian restaurant, and sometimes like a steakhouse or a sushi thing. Those are kind of the general ones, and then they'll branch out from there. But they'll a lot of times, usually 2 or 3 nights a week. So if you're there, you'll get different experiences as you go. They'll have like that Mayan night where there won't be nothing going on in the buffet. They're going to set up just the biggest spread of food outside and just be like music and entertainment happening. Maybe they'll sometimes have stilt walkers walking around or face painters, and they'll a lot of times bring in every resort 1 to 2 times a week will always bring in like a market. And these tradespeople will just go from one resort to the next, and they'll set up their stuff, and there'll be a nighttime market, and there'll usually be the food happening outside. So there's that type of an experience.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Cruising Complete said we need more ships that leave from the Caribbean. That way we could cruise to an island, get off the ship, stay a week at an all-inclusive, then get back on the ship and take it back. That sounds amazing. Doesn't that sound like the perfect vacation?
I don't know. I'll get on that. I'll be on that. I'll get my people to work on that.
Oh man, let's do it. Let's make it happen. And when it happens, we're gonna say it started right here.
You go to St. Lucia, let's say, and so St. Lucia has some really nice. They've got a new Secrets down there, or Aruba. Aruba has some of the most amazing hotels and food at Aruba. And you might come in on a cruise ship and then go, oh wow, I need to come back to this place. And so like Aruba, you have a Riu's there, you have a Hilton's there, you have Four Seasons is there, you have an Iberostar, you have the new Secrets is there. You have this like that, and that doesn't even count all like just the kind of mom and pop, hotel. And yet then you can get out and experience the culture there. A lot of them are on the most amazing beaches to just be in an island. Again, you have to get on island time then because you're stuck on an island, not stuck. You get to be on an island where it might push against you a little bit, Kiki, and your vibe of like getting out and explore. But again, you're never going to be able to explore the whole island. So it's there for you.
You know what? To that point, that was actually a question I was going to. You were just on top of it with these transitions today, Joseph. I like it. The cruiser that likes to really get out and explore the culture where they are. You hear so many people saying resort is not a real vacation. You're not really seeing the island, like that kind of stuff. Are there resorts out there that have opportunities for you to do these excursions that really get you out into where you are experiencing the culture itself, or bringing the culture onto the resort? You talked about the food a little bit and how sometimes you'll see that. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Almost all of them will bring the culture onto the resort. That's almost a given. Given again, if it's in Cancun or Mexico, there's almost, I can almost guarantee it. There's going to be a Mayan night where they do something like some shows and some food. So they're bringing that on site. That also will do. This is what cruise all inclusive do really well. If there's a holiday in the U.S., they'll do our holidays too. So they'll do Christmas better than we do Christmas. They do Thanksgiving. They do Super Bowl. Like I got now people that go to these resorts because they're going to watch the Super Bowl, not in the winter, but down there on a huge screen and with the ocean behind them. So they do those types of things. But actual getting into culture. Now I'm going to move over to the other side of Mexico. And I think a place we don't give a lot of love to is Puerto Vallarta. Puerto Vallarta is a beautiful town. It's a cruise ship town, so there's cruise ships that come in there. But that the Balacan there, their actual city of Puerto Vallarta is one of those towns that I'm like, you have to go and experience the city. I rarely say to somebody, that goes to Cancun, oh, make sure you go to Cancun. It's just it is a large city. It looks just like
Mm-hmm.
any other American city where people are living and working. In the resort, they're away from the resort. Puerto Vallarta though is a very cool mix of art and culture, things happening on the street with the street vendors and street magicians and musicians. And you start over by the central church, which is in the south side of the town, even though it's not, it's called the central church, but it's the south side. And you can walk your way up the Malecon and just sit on the rocking horses that they got out there and just seeing the sculptures. That's a beautiful city that for no money besides a taxi to get into town. That's the one time taxis are fine.
Okay.
When you're on your resort, just getting a transfer over there. The bellhop at the resort will help you get the taxi in. And then once you figure it out, you just grab a taxi back. That's a beautiful place to get out and see the culture. Huatuca is another one that's way down the south tip. It's Hua. It's how you spell the Huatuca. Some people say Huatuca. There's some nice resorts down there. It's very hard to get to flying wise. And so that's a very sleepy little town, little area that you can just go out and stroll the streets and to know
Mm-hmm.
that. But also, I'll go back to Cancun, even though I just said don't do it. You don't go to Cancun City, but there's Playa del Carmen, which is a larger city. You have the different port little towns that are down that you never would really go to. Puerto Morales is in between Playa del Carmen and the airport, and there's lots of resorts that are around it. Like you can't walk there, but a lot of resorts will have bikes, and you're just taking that back the road. They're just like follow the road. You can't go anywhere else. Follow the
Yeah.
road and go into town and go eat some food. Go to the wharf and go experience that. The one in Cabo also is a beautiful. Most cruise ships are going to Cabo San Lucas,
Mm-hmm.
which is the big port with all the $1 million yachts that are sitting in the wharf. And you go in there and
Yep.
you get tendered in. And you walk around. And you're like, oh my gosh, isn't that awesome? We saw all the Rolex stores and all the the Guess jeans stores, and we looked at really expensive boats. Did we really see Mexico? And I would say no, you didn't. You saw Southern California because they own that town. Now, if you actually went to Cabo, you'd fly into San Jose del Cabo, which is up the coast a little bit. The little
Mm-hmm.
town, San Jose del Cabo, which is right below the airport, is probably one of the coolest. And there's a lot of all-inclusives around there too, where you can just walk in to the city and go to a coffee shop, go see the chocolate factory. Some of the best art I've ever seen is in Cabo San Lucas or San Jose del Cabo. I always get those two mixed. Cabo San Lucas is the $1 million boat place. San Jose del Cabo is just the coolest, like I want to retire there type of town.
Okay.
As far as just walking around.
So Los Cabos is just like the combination of the two, right? Is that the like kind of
Yep,
the heading of it
yep,
all?
yep.
Okay. All right. I'm learning too today. I'm learning.
Yeah, Cabo San Lucas. Um, yeah, but you'll hear Los Cabos is usually what people put behind their names being. It's just in the southern tip of the peninsula.
Okay. Park is on the go said my cruise style is get me on a ship. I love good music, good food, and good drinks. Sounds like you got a lot of options for good music, good
Yeah,
food, and good drink.
good food, good drinks is we have it galore. Again, the music part might be a little different than what you're experiencing on a cruise ship. You won't probably
Mm-hmm.
have the lounge singer going on, but there are. I also think like music wise, I love going to a Jamaican resort because they're gonna have a night of reggae music where I take back everything I said about professionals coming in. Like they come in and they just nail it out of the park, with just music going on while people are again eating, having a drink. There'll be, the piano player off in the corner. I'm thinking like the couples resorts, not a couple resorts, but it's called couples. There's
Yeah.
4 of them in Jamaica that have really kind of cool like piano bars and those types of thing going on. So they'll have those things. It just isn't what you would think, given if you're in a cruise mindset.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Amanda said, yes, they do. I don't even remember what she was agreeing to because I don't know what we were talking about at the time,
Oh,
but everything you said has been
I agree with
amazing.
you, Amanda.
We agree with it all. Travel Cake Trip said, please get all of your people to work on these locations in Bermuda. He wants
Oh,
someone to go in Bermuda. She wants somebody. Whoever is behind right now, Travel Cake Trip wants somebody to make it happen in
yeah.
Bermuda for us. Or Puerto Rico.
Puerto
You
Rico.
know,
I've never been to Puerto Rico, but there's no all inclusives there again. It's a
right.
cost issue. It's a employee issue. Like it just doesn't isn't cost effective. Now you're going, oh, then am I supporting something that isn't paying people wages? The,
Mm-hmm.
the worker in Mexico gets paid a living wage for what they're doing. Now they're all working 6 days a week.
Yep.
Um, that's just life down there. You could be the GM at the hotel and they get Sundays off. Like the workers, like the head workers at these resorts, they get Sundays off. That truly is a day of rest. But it's not
Mm-hmm.
a day of rest because they're doing all their family stuff. But the workers there from the tips. That's why I'll say even if the resort, unless it's we're going to fire the worker because there are some.
Mm-hmm.
If you give them a tip, they're not supposed to take tips. Tips are included. But most of them you can give an extra tip. Like it doesn't cost you $1 for every drink. And I'll just tell you, tip somebody like that, and you're going to get your drinks faster next time. And um, they're going to be able to support their family, and that's just the way it
Nice.
is. And so they're getting good money. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, regular
I'm
nights
gonna
in
come
Jamaica are my favorite. Yep, yep,
I'm gonna come back to the tip thing because I got a
yep,
question on that too. But that is something that comes up I won't say all the time, but fairly often I'll get people that reach out and say, "Hey, I really want to do an all-inclusive. I don't want to get a passport though. I want to go somewhere where I don't need one. Can you look at some of these U.S. Virgin Islands or some of these
yep,
places that are, part of the U.S. technically?" And I try to explain to them up front, like, "Hey, you're going to be looking at probably higher costs. You're going to be looking at, a little bit harder to get to in terms of flights and, availability of flights. And
yep,
if you miss a flight, you might not be getting there till the next day.
yep.
So, it's just a little bit more difficult to get people
The
into those
answer is
properties."
no. I mean, it's just
Yep.
like it's no. Like
Yeah. I
get
need
a
to get better at just saying no, huh?
get a passport. Like the
Yep.
Virgin Islands don't have great all inclusives, and they might say they do, but it's like one
Mhm.
restaurant.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
it's just not what you would think you would want for an all inclusive. Stay
Yeah.
in Mexico, stay in Jamaica, stay in the DR, and then now some of these other islands like Saint Lucia, Aruba are really getting stepping up their game for all inclusives.
There you go. Joseph said it. And get the passport.
Passport. First thing we did when we adopted our youngest daughter, we were going on a cruise ship, and she's done almost 50 days of cruising. Um, was we had to talk to the judge before we even had the thing. We're like, hey, can we get all this lined up? We need all the paperwork done because like we need her to get a passport.
Mhm.
Like that's the best gift. I mean, I know we gave her a family, but like the best gift we gave her was a passport. The best gift you
Mhm.
can give yourself is a passport.
100% agree. I love it. Carnival Cruise Addict said, would love to go to Bermuda. Amanda said, so leave the cruising for the tours and the AI for the relaxing. There you go. That's it right there.
Not that you
Uh,
can't do either the one on the other one. You can relax on a cruise ship, or you can go on tours on an all inclusive, but that's not why you're doing it.
yeah.
That's an add on.
Yep. See it with C is in the building. What's up, C? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Happy I was about to say happy Sunday. I'm used to being live on Sundays. Happy Tuesday.
I don't even know if we're giving any travel tips yet. I don't know. We'll see.
Love and B said, I think in these next few years with all the new ships and the anticipation that's created by the lines and the ability to visit multiple places makes it hard for me to consider a resort right now. And I will say that's probably a little bit intentional, right? Like if
Yep.
the whole thing now is let's create these ships that are the destination. And
Yep.
that's what we're seeing rolling out year after year, these new ships that are the destination, right? But
And if you're in the cruise world, that's a propensity to stay in it. And all inclusive people would say the same exact thing. They're
really?
creating all these new resorts that I have to like Secrets Baby Beach in Aruba. Like people are talking about it like
Mhm.
it's like the holy grail. Uh,
Mhm.
Secrets Mokshe Impressions is like when that was built in Cancun, people were like, oh, what? Like, how did this even exist? We thought we knew it all. We thought we've experienced it all. Then it came here, and I'm like, I'm even like, they got glass at the pool bar. How is that even possible? You know,
Right, right.
they have like there's actually real silverware and real plates. And are those oysters on a half shell around the pool? No, this can't happen. Like we're supposed to only get a hamburger and fries at the pool. So I mean, they're expanding so much. And it's the beauty of travel. We haven't even talked about all the amazing places in Europe. There's all
Mm-hmm.
inclusive there. Like there's like you don't even have to go on a cruise or an all inclusive. Like go to some of these amazing European cities and just be like the beauty of travel is to go out and experience life, and you can do that cruising, all inclusives, whatever. Like you can get out there and do it, and
Absolutely.
you can make it happen. No matter where. I think it's going to give away my point that I was going to make at the end because you did ask me to do one thing, and so
I did,
okay.
and we're getting close to that too because
Okay.
we're coming up on an hour here, and I want to make sure that we're off by 7 so we can give people the rest of their night. But let me get through some of the comments here.
Yep.
Travel Lust Escape said reggae nights in Jamaica are my favorite nights. There you go. I gotta
One
experience that for
love,
myself.
one heart. Let's get together and come on,
Feel
everybody.
all right.
Feel all
I
right.
had you. I wasn't gonna leave you hanging. Cruising Complete said passports are easy to get and relatively cheap because they last 10 years. Gotta get it. Yeah, just
Yeah.
make it happen. It's a worthy investment. It is a worthy investment. Big Murph, how far in advance can you book an all
Oh,
inclusive?
good question, Big Murph. Um, as we know, flights can only be planned out like 11 months in advance, but you can, and again, with ALG Vacations, with working with Kiki, she can book out these resorts sometimes 2 years in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hold the resort for you. Just put a deposit down. It's interest free. Don't pay it all off. Get the travel protection put on it so you're safe with all of that. And then if the price of the resort goes down, she's just going to reprice it for you.
Yep.
And then when the flights come out, you can either add that onto the package, or if you have points and want to use that, you can go out and do that. But there's never a bad time to put a deposit down on an all inclusive because of the pricing if you buy the right one. Like if the price goes down, you just modify the booking and get the new price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So never too far in advance to ask
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it puts it on my radar.
Yeah.
Even if I can't book it just yet,
Yeah.
it puts it on my radar, and I can add those flights later.
Yep. Yep.
And even like we talked about last minute travel. Now I don't recommend this, but there is, it's a little bit easier for me to get you to a resort last minute than it is for me to get you on a cruise ship last minute. So just throwing
Um,
that out there too.
and there are not just like in life, there isn't last minute deals like there has been.
Mm-mm.
There's just last minute options with all inclusives that there isn't. And I will say now, just with our economy and all that, people are worried about different stuff. Like we are seeing people booking trips not 90 days out like they maybe have. Like the summer's still booking right now with us, which isn't the normal trend.
Yeah.
People are already kind of booking the fall and even next January, but we're seeing a lot of bookings happening for the fall. There's one that popped up here.
Did I
If
miss one? Let me
the
see.
drinks, so I'm looking on the side, I wasn't looking on your screen. Are drinks included, or is there a limit? And the answer is no, Cruising Complete. This is not a Princess 16 drink limit. You can drink as your heart's content, and that's the beauty of the all-inclusive world is that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that's different from cruising too.
yeah, and back to drinks and food level. That's usually your number one indication. Not that a least expensive resort is bad, but at some resorts they'll have John Barr Black Label, not Johnny Walker Black Label, and so they'll just it's just the way it is. But you can have as much as you want.
Yep.
Most of them, especially if you get in their preferred clubs, have a really good selection of drinks. And again, you can go as much as you want.
Mm-hmm. People are getting some good information here. Big Murph said, "Wow, that's good to know about modifying the booking."
Only if
Absolutely.
you work with a travel advisor, though. If you
Only
do
if
this
you
on
work
your
with a
own,
travel
good luck.
advisor. Love and V said that was a good question. Nice to know up to 2
Yeah.
years is possible. Yep. Yep. So you can plan
Again,
way out in
if
advance.
you have the travel protection put on, which I know you would recommend, people have that.
Absolutely.
no deposits, because really you're just paying for the travel protection at that point, because it's canceled for any reason. So you're paying for
Mm-hmm.
that, usually that plus $100, and you're set and go. Not unlike some cruise ships that do the $50 deposits and all of that, but their cancellation fees are a little bit weird.
Yeah, they are. And typically if you're doing one of those like $50 deposits with the cruise line, it's not canceled for any reason and you're going to have to pay something if you end up canceling.
Yeah.
It's usually a non-refundable deposit when you're doing it that way. So one last question I have, I don't see anything else that came in through the chat. Um, we hear a lot of questions about safety with travel.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, what your thoughts are in regards to that? I get the question all the time. Is it safe for me to go fill in the blank? Put whatever name you want there because I get it all the time. What is your thoughts on safety with travel?
Is it safe to walk across my street right now? I don't
Not
know.
all the time.
It is in my town because it's a pretty sleepy little town. First thing is that there are no guarantees in life. There are no guarantees that you're going to have the most amazing food on the cruise ship or an all-inclusive. There are no guarantees you're going to have a bad housekeeper that maybe didn't tuck your sheets in quite right. There's always, go at your own risk type of things when you go out and travel, because you're going to go out and experience with and interact with these things called people. And people, for the most part, do amazing things. And then there's sometimes when they don't. So as it pertains to safety, that I've never used that line before, Kiki. That was a brand new thought I just gave you. I think that was really well thought out.
It
But as
was.
it comes to safety, we can never guarantee safety for you. But what we can say is that I can say personally, and you could say, when you go onto these cruise ports, do you ever feel unsafe? Usually not. When I'm on resort, at these resorts, like the level of fear of anything is like zero. It's like set my iPad down on the lounge chair and let it sit there all day. Nobody's going to take it. I could put $100 on my pillow and it'll be there when I get back.
Mm-hmm.
So the level of safety is nothing I'm ever worried about. Now, don't ever get into an unknown car. I was in Jamaica once where I was like, got in a fishing boat with somebody because he was doing a thing off the boat, and then I half out into the sea, and I think this probably wasn't the best decision. I just gave this guy, now he wants more money for me to get off said boat. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Now, did I ever feel unsafe? Never. But I felt like this guy's going to weasel me out of another $50. I know he is. But that was my stupid thought. Now, I will say, in Mexico, you're always going to hear something about somebody got killed or a gunshot or whatever. There are drug cartels in the Caribbean and in Mexico. So are you going to be involved with drug cartel work? And if so, then don't go, because you're going to get in trouble. And if they are going to do anything, now this isn't scientific, but this is a lot of years of just watching what happens. Because in America, we never hear the end of the story. We only heard somebody got shot. Well, 99.9% of the time, it was another drug dealer that was on the public beach that was trying to sell some drugs, usually marijuana, to some unexpected traveler. And the other guy, that's their beach. Now this guy's on his beach. Comes over and will shoot them.
Yeah, because you're on my territory.
You're in my territory. Now, do they want to shoot any other people? Absolutely not. They shoot the person, they get back, and they walk away. Because you just took my land. And I don't want anybody to have a hustle or a tussle or anything going on, because all these other people are my money. So again, a little sarcastic, but also it's the truth. And so you will find a lot of times when anything happens, if you pull back the layers a little bit, it's at a new resort or one that was closed for a while and it's now got remodeled and it opens back up. And usually for the first week or so, something stupid happens because somebody's trying to fight over it. And again, this is my theory, fight over that. This is not ALGV's theory. Or if you actually
the views and opinions expressed here are not
the views of this are my opinions, or it's just some dumb American that's trying to get in the room of somebody else. And again, you peel back and go, the American shot because they were climbing in and trying to get into their hotel room. No, it wasn't their hotel. They weren't even at the right hotel. Like, why are you but nobody, those things won't. Or the alcohol was tainted. No, it wasn't. Like there was 18 bottles of pills by their room, on the nightstand, and they mixed it with a bunch of alcohol, sure, and they made
Mm-hmm.
a dumb decision. So those are the things that are happening. There will be, again, the tragic. It's all tragic, obviously, but there will be the tragic, just random, thing that does happen where somebody does get injured. But it is so minuscule. Millions and millions and millions of people go to Cancun for the 2 weeks of spring break, and you rarely ever hear
Very
anything
true.
happen.
Very true.
Millions of people are going through one airport, nothing.
Mm-hmm. But as soon as people hear that one story, that
One
is what gets
story.
blown
Then
way
it's like, and meanwhile in America, and again, I don't mean to be insensitive. We are so random with our violence in America. Like, let's go run our car through the parade here in Milwaukee and see how many people we can hit. Or let's go into a school and just shoot people. Like, it's just like, it's so random. And I'll just tell you, usually in the Caribbean world, it's not random. It's no, this is the person that needs to go. And if you're not doing anything bad, you don't have to worry about anything. The other thing,
Mm-hmm.
Kiki, is we're really bad at geography. When people are like, oh my God, there's a level 4, level 4, like, no, that was like, do we care about what you guys are in Chicago? Do you care about what happens in Seattle? Well,
Huh.
no.
Yeah.
Did you lose sleep last night because a shooting happened in Seattle? No. Well, then why are you like, that's how far away this is, Mr.
Yeah. These
Illiterate
destinations.
Geography. Like, those are nowhere near each other. So, okay, that's mine. I'll get off my horse. I
No,
just
we appreciate it.
I
We appreciate the
love,
input.
I don't know if you noticed this, but I love Mexico. Like I talked about,
Mm-hmm.
and I love the islands too. I love the Caribbean. Again, I love to travel. I love the world. But if you told me, Joseph, you had to pick a country today where you could go to and never leave, you could never leave that country for the rest of your life, I would, without hesitation, say Mexico.
All right. That's good to know. That's hey, I can tell you love it. I can tell you love the properties there. I can tell
So
you
what?
definitely love Cancun.
I haven't even talked about like going inland and going to some of these other things where there aren't all inclusives. Like there's so much culture and so much things in Mexico.
Yeah.
And again, going off and seeing these other things.
Well, we'll
Segue
have
into
to
what
have you
you're gonna
back
ask
one
me,
day to talk more about all of
segue
the
into what you're going to ask me. Close the thing with.
yeah, so we appreciate you being with us today. We had a good conversation. I hope that you all have learned something today while listening. Definitely one more shout out if you need to book a land vacation or a cruise. Definitely, check me out. Come on, give me a holler.
You didn't even
You
check
got
it
the
out. Just get it going. Open up the
get it going.
checkbook. Let's
Let's make it
go.
happen. Let's make it happen. uh, I think I'm ready for resorts. Let's go. Give me a holler. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that we normally do at the end of our Sunday lives, my husband will do Motivations by Ray. It's just a little way to give everybody some motivation as we're going into a new week. We didn't go live this past Sunday, so we missed Motivations by Ray. Joseph, I would love if you would give us a little word of encouragement as we head out of this live stream on today.
You told me not to preach or take an offering, so I won't do that. Right? And
You can preach. We ain't gonna take no offering, but you can preach now.
I said at the beginning that this was going to go off the cuff, and I knew the first question you were going to ask and the last one you were going to ask. Before we started, you asked me to just share something with this, and so I do want to go a little biblical in that. We look at Jesus and his life, and even if you don't believe in what he might have said or done, many of us do. You can call us crazy if you want, but he, as a historical figure in this book, we read and see that he wandered around, and I like to say he wandered with intention. So he was intending to go somewhere, but he would always put himself in the middle of what was happening and going from one place to the next. And you get his disciples who were like, well, where are we going now? And he kind of, I think sometimes a little sarcastically, maybe Jesus is like, I don't know, just follow me. Because he said that, where are we
Yeah.
going? I don't know, follow me. We're going to go see what happens. And I would encourage you as you get out and travel, even if you don't want to necessarily believe what Jesus said, you can maybe do what he did, and that's just get out and wander a little bit. and do good around you and see what you might see and be open to what's happening when you travel. That conversation with, so when you're sitting down, I don't care if you're on a cruise ship or you're in the middle of nowhere, Mexico, or in the middle of the busiest city in Europe. When you grab your food and you look around, you go, oh, who am I going to sit by? Who am I going to have a conversation with? That's when the true life of travel comes out. So I don't get a lot of people. I don't give a lot of people too much credit. When like, well, I go to all inclusive and go, I'm not seeing the culture. You are, if you want to find it, because it could be that guy from Canada that's sitting right next to you. It could be on the cruise ship in Alaska, where the family that's maybe from Korea, three generations, and you want to interact with them, and it might be this moment of you wandering around with intent. So don't just kind of wander around, oh, I wonder who's going to talk with me. Wander around with intent to go, oh, I'm actually going to interact with that person. Just happened with me on my last trip in March. We're at the Dreams Vista. I talked about that resort earlier. That's the one that's like the cruise ship with the family. I just kind of cheered it up with a guy, and the next thing you know, he lives an hour away from me in Milwaukee. And we just hung
Wow.
out that week, and our kids engaged, and we had this grand time together. Now, are we best friends? No. Were we going to text each other afterwards? No. But we had this interaction with them because I was intentionally, as I do in life, I wander with intent, because I think that's what Jesus did. All right,
Yep.
there
Yep.
you go.
Amen today. I am with it. That
That
was
was
all, as Keisha
unplanned
said.
also an hour ago. Kiki,
Yes. Keisha said that's a whole word, Joseph. What would Jesus do? Wander and travel the world. Amen. Absolutely. We love it. Thank you so much for being our guest
oh my
today.
God, this was the
Thank
best.
you for sharing. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Thank you
If
for sharing the
you're
word with us.
if you're a travel agent too, and you're on here and you're like, I want that guy on one of my podcasts, I would love to interact with any of your audiences too. So,
Where can people find you? Are you I know Facebook, Instagram, you all over the
well,
place, right?
I'm from Wisconsin, so we use carrier pigeons and smoke signals. So you just got to find me, Joseph Fehlen. Look me up on Instagram or Facebook and Instagram. I only have one Facebook. I don't have a business page. I just have me doing my life, so you can know, like, and trust me, and figure out what I'm doing. So if you want to, check out what my little girl's doing, and I have older kids also. I'm going to be going to some concerts with my older daughter here soon. You might see me at a concert. You might see me talking about travel. You might see family stuff. So it's a little bit of everything, and I love to share my life with you.
All right. I'm going to throw the link in the chat for Joseph Facebook. So
Oh,
if anybody wants to go and follow, you could go and follow Joseph. And I apologize. Normally I would do that and have it dropping throughout the night. I don't know why that didn't occur to me this
it
time,
doesn't
but
even matter.
there we go. We got it now. But thank you, Joseph. Sit tight for a second. I'm going to close out. I'm going to let
All
everybody
right.
go. All right. Thank you. Everyone have a good night. What do I usually say when we close out? Until the next time.